So I've chosen to fish a swim that's on the bank that's fishing into the wind. It's a nice southwesterly wind blowing in here. It is a little bit breezy, but I found a clear area surrounded by weed beds. Not dense weed beds, but there's definitely a bit of weed out there. But there is also a nice clear area, sort of around about 30 yards, something like that. And it's probably in about 1.5 meters, between 1 meter and 2 meters deep. And at the moment I am getting a rudd, a chuck. If I put the bait on the spot where I've spommed out a few micro pellets and a little bit of ground bait, I get a bite pretty quickly. So I've taken to putting the baits just to the side of the baited area, and it is giving me a little bit more time before I get a bite. And I'm hoping, with all these rudd out there, I mean there must be thousands of them, they're getting to the bait really quickly. The Crucians are never going to get a chance. So if I'm fishing on the edges of the sort of the busy area, if you like, I'm hopeful I'm going to get a chance of a Crucian. See, my bobbin's gone up, so I'm going to go investigate that. Well, that last bite, it was a Crucian. It was a very large Crucian, and I sadly lost it at the net. It's taken me about an hour to get over it and do this little bit to camera, to be honest, because I've got this sick feeling. It was a big one, and yeah, it just rolled at the net, and the hook just pinged out. I'm using barbless hooks, small barbless hooks, and I guess that's the way it is sometimes. But it continues to be a rudd, a cast, and I did actually switch to a pellet, and the first bite I got was that Crucian, so I'm now fishing both rods on pellet, thinking it was going to get me Crucian action and avoid the rudd, but I'm still getting hammered by the rudd. It's about 6 o'clock now probably, so I've still got plenty of time. Hopefully these rudd will get exhausted and give the Crucians a chance. On my club lake back home, I do find that well, I have lots of problems with rudd on there as well, but I do find that the rudd do calm down a bit as the light starts to drop, so I'm hoping that's going to be the case here, and hoping that there's more than just that one nice Crucian carp swimming around out there where I'm fishing. So I'm sure if you have lost a fish before, you can appreciate what it feels like when it's a nice fish. It probably would have been a PB for me, to be honest. It was a decent one, but that's the way it is, and like I say, hopefully we'll get another chance. So, back chasing Crucians, and quite different conditions from last time I was over here. Today it's bright, hot, very little wind. I've been fishing since about 9 o'clock this morning, and I've had a few rudd, but even the rudd aren't as active as they were last time I was here. But an angler sort of 3 or 4 swims down from me has had a really nice Crucian, just shy of 3 pounds. It was a little bit earlier on. It's about 10:30 now probably in the morning, and it is starting to really warm up. Temperatures are likely going to exceed 30 degrees today, so it's really far from ideal conditions for fishing of any type really, but I think that it's, you know, potentially worth it when the sun starts to drop later on in the day. It starts cooling down a bit, so it's just a case of biding my time, and you know, never know, might be lucky, might pick up a fish or two during the day, but really anticipating the best time of day is going to be towards the end of the day and into darkness. Same sort of approach really, method feeders. I'm actually fishing plastic baits this time, just to make it a little bit easier given all the rudd in here. And like I say, I have had rudd on both rods. Plastic casters on one and a very small piece of plastic yellow corn on the other. I've got one rod up against these lilies, thinking that, you know, fish might actually want to be seeking refuge in the shade of the lily pads as it warms up through the day. And then I've got the other rod on the longer spot, about 30 yards there or thereabouts, over a baited spot. So we shall see what the day has in store for us. I've been watching these lily pads carefully, and every now and again you do see the odd one twitch. It does give away the presence of fish under there, but it tends to be deep in the middle of it all, not around the edges where I've got the bait. Well, finally a little bit of good news. There's a little bit of fizzing coming up, not that far from my left-hand rod. So about an hour ago I did put in a few balls of ground bait just along that lily pad line there. And a little bit further out, maybe a metre, yard and a half metre or so behind that. That's definite fish activity, very close to the bait. Poised, ready for action. The rod again. Still time for a crucian though, I reckon. It has turned into a bit of a multi-species challenge, it would seem, but yeah, there's definitely still time. It just takes one bite.
That's lovely, mate.
Okay. Yeah. Well, it's right at the end of the day. Probably got an hour and a half left of fishing, but managed to finally get one. I've had gudgeon, roach, rudd, tench, common carp. Finally, we got one. 213.
Lovely.
Awesome.
Well done, mate.
Wicked. Result. Well done. Hello, and welcome to what is my fourth and most likely final crucian session of the summer. It's sort of late summer, well, sort of into September now, and yeah, the last time I was down here I lost a few fish and I had a really beautiful crucian, but I haven't got over that £3 mark, so that's what I'm here trying to achieve today on this last session before I start going on the rivers again. Conditions look great, you know, it's there's a bit of cloud, a bit of sun, there's a nice southwesterly blowing into this corner. I've picked a quiet corner away from what is otherwise a pretty busy lake. I've had a quiet little corner. I much prefer sort of squirreling myself away in a quiet little corner and keep things to myself. But yeah, I've got both rods out. First cast on each rod. Fishing method feeders again. And last time I was here, I was getting bites on little orange 10mm boilies. So that's what I've started with. And we shall see how it goes. So, 2 casts since I've been here. Crucian fishing. And I've got a carp on each of the rods. My little crucian landing net is stuffed full of carp. Ugh. Well, at least I've caught some fish. Been fishing, I don't know, 15 minutes and I've got 2 of them. And there's carp anglers around the lake I walked past, had a chat to, they've not caught anything, so there you go. Anyway, let's try to deal with this. Whew. There's the first one. Very aggro common. Oh. And there's the second, a slightly more mellow mirror carp. Let's put them back. Ridiculous start to a crucian session. Well, it's 6 PM now, and I've probably got an hour and a half of fishing left. No crucians, sadly. I've had a few small tench, and those 2 big old carp first thing this morning. But no sign of the crucians at all. Not seen anything, not seen fizzing. There's been a ripple on the water all day, a bit of a breeze in fact. So spotting bubbles and signs of fish has been challenging. But yeah, nothing happening. Gonna stick it out just into darkness and see if we can nick one at the end of the day.